Italy has given the world some of the most beautiful and iconic cars ever made. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, the list goes on, and their reputation for style is legendary. But even the masters of design have their bad days. Not every Italian car rolled off the production line looking like a work of art. In fact, some were so oddly styled that people questioned if they were even real. Today, we're looking at 7 Italian cars that completely missed the mark. They may have had practicality, performance, or even prestige, but visually they left us scratching our heads. 1. Fiat Multipla. The Fiat Multipla is often crowned the ugliest car ever built, and for good reason. Launched in the late 1990s, it looked like something out of a cartoon sketch gone wrong. Its most striking feature was the strange 2-tiered headlight setup, making the front end look like a confused frog staring back at you. The wide body and unusually tall roofline gave it a stance that seemed unfinished and awkward. And yet, the Multipla was surprisingly clever inside. Could seat 6 people in 2 rows of 3, while still being compact enough for city driving. Families loved it for the practicality, but everyone else laughed at it for the design. Over time, it developed cult status for being so unapologetically strange. Whether you think it's brave or hideous, the Multipla is impossible to ignore. 2. Maserati Quattroporte. Early 2000s. Maserati has always stood for Italian elegance, but the early 2000s Quattroporte left many fans disappointed. On paper, it had everything going for it. A Ferrari-sourced engine, a luxurious leather interior, and the heritage of one of Italy's finest carmakers. But when people looked at it, the proportions just felt wrong. The front end was heavy and oversized, while the rear seemed small and unfinished, giving the car an unbalanced appearance. From some angles, it almost looked like 2 different cars merged together. For a brand famous for designing cars that make people stop and stare, this Quattroporte was oddly forgettable. It wasn't hideous in the way the Fiat Multipla was, but it simply failed to deliver the grace and drama expected of Maserati. It remains a reminder that even premium names can get design wrong.
3. Alfa Romeo 156. Trims.
The Alfa Romeo 156 is remembered as a stylish sedan, but certain trims made it lose that magic. The original design had beautiful, flowing lines that gave it a sporty yet elegant stance. Unfortunately, some later versions introduced awkward changes. Oversized bumpers, oddly shaped headlights, and plastic cladding that didn't blend well with the body. These additions disrupted the clean design, making the car look more cluttered than classy. It's a shame because the 156 was brilliant to drive, with that classic Alfa Romeo spirit and handling that made owners fall in love. Yet style is emotional, and when the trims looked messy, the car's identity suffered. It's a perfect example of how small, unnecessary design tweaks can completely change the way people perceive a car. 4. Lancia Ypsilon. Overdone editions. The Lancia Ypsilon was designed to be chic, small, and fashionable, a city car with personality. But some special editions went completely overboard. Instead of keeping it elegant and simple, designers threw in clashing paint schemes, over-the-top decals, and far too much chrome. What was supposed to be classy ended up looking more like a toy. The base model actually had some charm, but these fashion editions tried so hard to stand out that they became confusing and unattractive. Many buyers still appreciated the Ypsilon for being practical in cities, but car enthusiasts couldn't ignore how tacky some versions looked. It's a classic case of design trying to be trendy and ending up looking cheap instead. For a brand like Lancia, known for style, these editions were a real misstep. 5. Fiat Idea and other mini MP verses. In the early 2000s, Fiat launched the Idea, a compact MPV that prioritized practicality. It wasn't ugly in a shocking way like the Multipla, but it was painfully bland. The tall, boxy body looked more like a household appliance than an Italian car. Yes, it ticked all the boxes for function: spacious cabin, comfortable seating, and decent efficiency. But when it came to design, it had no spark, no personality, and certainly no Italian flair. Unlike the Multipla, which at least had a bold, if bizarre, identity, the Idea was forgettable from every angle. Families bought it for convenience, not looks, and it quickly blended into traffic like wallpaper. For a country known for jaw-dropping cars, this level of dullness was almost offensive.
6. The Tomaso Guarà.
The Tomaso Guarà is one of the strangest-looking sports cars Italy has ever produced. It was supposed to be bold, modern, and futuristic, but instead it looked like a prototype that was never finished. Its proportions were clumsy, with sharp edges fighting against curved surfaces in a way that made no sense. From the front, it appeared aggressive but unrefined, while the rear felt like an afterthought. Some collectors defend it for being rare and different, but most agree it lacked the harmony you expect from an Italian supercar. When compared to Ferraris or Lamborghinis of its time, the Guarà looked awkward and incomplete. It remains a fascinating car to talk about, not because of its beauty, but because of how boldly it missed the mark.
7. Fiat Punto Evo.
The Fiat Punto was once one of Italy's best-looking small cars, beloved for its simple and timeless design. But then came the Punto Evo. This facelift was supposed to modernize the car, but it ended up ruining its charm. The new grille looked out of place, the reshaped headlights felt forced, and the additional trims gave it a cluttered, confused appearance. Instead of a clean and elegant hatchback, the Evo looked like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Fans of the original Punto were disappointed, claiming the update robbed the car of its character. Mechanically, it was still decent, but looks matter in the small car segment, and the Evo just didn't deliver. It's a perfect example of how not every facelift improves a design. And that's for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Got thoughts, questions, or video ideas? Drop them down in the comments. I read every single one,